Welcome to the channel, everyone. How are you doing? So today we're going to do a reading from God and Goddess, or Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, or just Source or Universe, whatever feels right to you. But this is going to be from a blended aspect of masculinity and femininity. So not male, female, just the energetical compounds of that. So I'm quite excited about this. Supercharged, so we'll see what comes through in your reading today. So let's pick some piles. Their energy is just really high, I guess, so as I channel it or kind of tap into it more, so is probably the right word. Okay, these are all coming out pretty quick. It feels quite, feels nice. So it's just balancing with that energy. Alright, so we've got 4 piles today. So for pile 1, you have the red Jasper with nurture, determination, relaxing, and tranquility. Okay. For pile 2, you have the golden or gold sheen obsidian with personal power, spiritual manifestation, earth healing, and new experiences. For pile number 3, so you've got one of the elements in this deck, and this is water with emotional, intuitive, psychic powers and healing. And lastly, you have Celestite for pile 4, communicating with angels, tranquility, good fortune, and deep meditation. Okay, so I'll leave these here for you to pick your piles. You can go down into the description to go straight to your video. Today, what I'll be doing is I'll be shuffling during your videos, so there'll be no shuffling process. Sometimes this keeps changing and chopping and changing, and I think it depends on the reading, the energy that's coming through, and also whoever's, I guess, whatever timeline we're on, right? Something like that with what works and what's different. So today we're doing it like kind of live during there's no like pre-shuffling, it's just all at once. So anyway, I'll leave you here to pick your piles, and I'll see you in your reading. Hello pile number 1, welcome to your reading. So you've chosen the red Jasper with nurture, determination, relaxing, and tranquility. Right, so we'll see what kind of message comes through. This is going to be a bit interesting because it's all open, right? It's all, okay, we're going to take that one. It's all open to whatever comes through today. I'm just going to shuffle these and get your oracle cards first. These have been shuffled before the reading. Not sure how many we're going to pull out. I think these ones are quite big, so I might pop this up here. Oh yeah, that fits. Might be cut off a little bit, but that's okay. I'll make sure you can see them when I flip them. I think we just leave a little gap there. Ooh, okay. Oh, we got 2 here. Take this one. Okay. So I'm going to flip these ones, and then we'll go into the tarot. These are kind of like oracle / tarot, so they're a little bit special. Okay. So you have the message reevaluate. In the starlit sky, we still look for the falling stars. Really interesting. just quickly, it's coming through as like, this is about your priorities and where you're putting your energy. And are you really seeing the results of what you put in? It's like going through a cycle, let's say, of like, but I keep working and working and working, working, working. Why am I not getting what I need? And it's like, maybe it's time to slow down and just reevaluate and see what you're putting, where you're putting your energy, what you're putting it into. How much energy you're putting into something, and are you receiving signs but you're missing those signs, let's say, because our guides will always be there for us and they're always trying to give us like hints and messages, and that kind of, hey, we're over here, like this, you want this, but you're spinning your wheels kind of thing. So that definitely is kind of like the first aspect that wants to really come through. Are you looking after your health, yourself, your body, your energy, your energetical you, I want to say. Okay. You also have hope coming through with love and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Choose loving thoughts. She's really coming through with like, see the beauty in yourself. See the, I'm just going to move this up a little bit. See the energy of beauty, I guess, within yourself. Like, see yourself not just physically, but like what you do for people, who you are. Even if you just smile a lot or something like that, even if you don't smile a lot, right? It doesn't really matter. It's just like, how do you feel about yourself? And what do you want to incorporate or express that it's already within you? Or what do you want to attract into your life? And take it from like an emotional or not physical, sorry, emotional, or like I guess, what do you want to attract mentally, that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like what kind of experiences, what kind of feelings do you want to provide for others? I think this will help balance and keep you in the flow of life, instead of trying to go up the mountain, trying to force something. If I hope that makes sense. But love and acceptance is also seeing the beauty in, or the silver lining in, some of the stuff that hasn't worked out, right? There's some relationships don't work out and we can be kind of hurt from that and that kind of thing. Of course we will be, in a sense. But if we didn't go through that relationship, would we have learnt how to empower ourselves, or what our worth in this aspect, or XYZ? It's going to be different for everyone. So not saying anything about the particular situation, but there's definitely aspects of growth and learning that you've learned from, a connection with an ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Justin is an example. But if you take the time to reflect, not relive, there's a difference between reflecting and reliving, and this is like reflecting, because that's where even potentially the reevaluate comes in. Gives you that insight. Okay, I always do this. I always keep reading before I start reading, before I finish flipping, but when it comes through, I just need to get it out so that I don't forget it, and also that you don't miss the messages from divine masculine feminine energy. See, exactly what I was saying. This is how you get into flow. I believe, I really feel like the energy is wanting you to get into flow with Poseidon. Poseidon's coming through here. This is the whole point. It's, instead of fighting life, it's getting into flow with life. Instead of fighting your masculine or feminine energies, or relying on the wounds of masculine feminine, or even overexertion of masculine feminine, either one, either or, right? In whatever area. Sometimes it's natural. We don't want to be always balanced fully. I mean, maybe some, but when you go to work, you might be more in your masculine, right? Because that's where that energy is. It works quite well. And then at home with kids, you're in your feminine energy, trying to balance that. Sometimes it takes time to shift. That's why you need a break, or need to just ground for a moment when you come home from work and that kind of thing. But appreciate every little miracle and moment, I feel like, is coming through, because there are miracles and things like that every day. This is just how they're bringing it through. Yeah, I can't help myself. I have to bring through the message as it comes through. Alright, so you also have Raduriel. This is expressing an aspect of you that's creative, like different. I want to say here also something that's just quickly popped up. Also, the song playing just randomly is called Sweet But Psycho. You probably know that by Ava Max. And it's interesting because it's kind of coming through, not specifically with this card, but it just popped into my head that sometimes we can be seen as like, whoa, sometimes you're fluctuating a lot. But maybe that's because we're stressed and we're under pressure and we feel like we need to be the one that does lots of things and you know, has to get things done. But just, it might be a time to just take a step back. Not that it matters what other people think or say, right, generally. But if they're seeing or we feel like we're expressing an aspect of ourselves that's not true, then that's where we need to look at that and see why and what's happening in our physical world and within our like an emotional body form. But anyway, back to the card. The aspect of creativity is really shining through with this. I want to say also journaling, maybe your dreams. We just got out of Pisces and I think everyone's probably exhausted. This is also a time of slowdown. There's lots of retrogrades. So generally people think, oh no, it's bad. And it's like, it's not bad. It's instead of pushing, it's time to slow down and reflect and look at ourselves and get back into flow with nature, our body, you know, our human world, everything. But I think there's an aspect of us that we can tap into that wants to be expressed for you, pile number one. Because it's got that determination, but it's also talking about relaxing tranquility. So you can still have like high masculine energy and high feminine energy while in flow, right? Okay. So you've got Helena Blavatsky. I remember reading about her just briefly. I'm not a like expert or anything like that. Sorry, the image is kind of coming up a bit funny on screen. But she kind of introduced, I think, some more, I guess we would call them at that time, modern New Age kind of ideas and that kind of spirituality over, you know, the structure of religion. It was like more expansive, I guess. And initiations does feel like starting something new or starting to, you know, initiation is like a rite, kind of like, I guess you could call it like a birthright into like kingdom or, you know, taking over the crown in the future, that kind of thing, initiation like that, or even maybe like a baptism, that kind of thing. That's how I would see it in like as an example. But this could be initiating yourself on your own path, the path of the healer, or path of the supporter, or whatever it is, the path of the priestess, which I think is like its own kind of journey itself. Whatever that is, this feels like this opportunity is here to maybe make some shifts and changes that begin something very new, like a new aspect of you to come through. It's interesting because normally I say most of the stuff's within, and this feels like it is within, but it has not. It's like absolutely not been touched, or it hasn't been touched since childhood, or something like that. It's just like on ice, and this feels like awakening to it, or starting to awaken, like wake up to it. Okay. Oh, I love that they've got Poseidon. Speaking of divine feminine, divine masculine, we've got Poseidon and Asariel. Just the imagery more so than the characters, but you know, god of the sea. And then we've got this figure who looks like the goddess of the sea, right? So very cool. I don't actually know this one, so she doesn't come out often. I'm going to read that one. Oops. Okay, so it talks about emotional expression. I'm just going to read her little message. So it says here, you are naturally intuitive and deeply sensitive. Acknowledge and trust your emotions as they can act as a powerful compass. I love that it says powerful compass, because our emotions are there to remind us of what's happening around us. It's like how we react on them is our choice, of course. And they also have like a message within them. Maybe it's like, why am I always angry about this or upset, or why is this always coming up, and something like that. And that's an idea to stop and look at it. But this is talking about being psychic or being intuitive and connecting. So whether that's connecting with nature, connecting with your true self, connecting with your heart, that's going to depend on you and where you're putting your energy and where you want to put your energy. Because it's like here, love is yours. You already have what you need within you. It just depends what you're expressing at this time. And if you want to continue expressing that, or if there's something more fulfilling for you. Okay, so I'm just going to pull some more cards to see what God, Goddess, or Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine want to say. But I do like, since we're doing a Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, that these two kind of come through. It's just really interesting. And also these two, like, they're both looking up. So it's just very fun. Interesting one. How the cards are forming. Okay. So without even flipping, this is a huge amount of support and love towards you from the Divine, and they're really just wanting you to live like your life the way you want it, or in more of like expressive that's true to you. Not caught up in the drama of Earth, let's say. There's something definitely like messages coming through, and I believe you have the ability to pick up on these, to tap into, but it's harder when we're distracted and we're just like, doing living the day by day, eat, sleep, drink, whatever, like eat, sleep, repeat, whatever it's called, the work, repeat thing. There's definitely like little sidebars that we could be tapping into or looking at. So you have reclaim your power, and I think that's exactly what this is all about. This determination and everything is to get back into the true you, your expressive self, your magical self, I almost want to say, but really back into flow. So reclaim your power, 8 of activations. You can see this as the 8 of swords as well. But I think that's the best way of wording it, reclaiming your power, because that's exactly what the 8 of swords is about. It's about feeling trapped, feeling stuck, and now what? But instead of just saying, you already know where you are, right? Or what aspect feels in a loop or in a cycle, how do I break out of that? And that's by reflecting and seeing what's true and what's not. You also have the 9 of light codes, persistent presence. This is the 9 of wands, so it's showing like, I've been going through a lot, like you've been around the block, let's say. You've done many things and gone through many things, right? So to gain the benefit of actually having gone through those things, ensure that you're learning and getting the lessons from those experiences that will help propel you through to what's more calling to you, what's more fulfilling to you, what's more true to you. You also have the 10 of activations, which again is the 10 of swords. So infinite self-realization. I love that infinite. It is like really at the beginning I was thinking cycle, reevaluate. It's like, you don't have to keep going through the cycle of like it feels like here with this 8, it's like entrapped in struggle. It's like almost like the devil card in a sense, but not at that level. It feels fine, but it just feels fine. It doesn't feel like there's only glimpses of kind of hope and love and excitement. And I think it's time to like start a new path for sure. The 10 of activations is the end of the activations. It's the end. So it's like, okay, I've learned something and I know what's right for me. I'm gonna start contemplating what's actually coming up. This isn't telling you what to do. This is just telling you what you can, who you can be, and what's already within you that you can bring out. Just take some time and self-care, really, like self-worth. Okay. And lastly, you have the chalice, which is the priestess of activation. So lots of swords, right? Lots going through your mind. I'm surprised you're even here getting this reading, I want to say. That you aren't like, oh, I need to go do this, or maybe you're listening to this while doing something else, or you're actually not paying attention, or something like that. I'm not judging or anything like that. It's just kind of funny how it's coming through. It's like, pay attention to the key messages, at least within this reading, and I'll just repeat them. So it's like, this is a time to understand your energy and where you're putting your energy, reevaluating, reflecting on, things that you've learned, the challenges that you've gone through in life, what you've gained from that, and how that's going to help you, dig deep and bring out the true energy of who you are. How do we get back into flow of life so it doesn't feel like a struggle, I want to say, or it doesn't feel like you just keep getting like everything is energetical. Money is energetical, that kind of thing. So money should be coming in and flowing out. Like it needs to keep that balance. You should be flowing through with many different emotions and feelings. It can't be just the same kind of almost robotic lifestyle, and that's not what you're here for as well. I don't feel like there is more of a creative energy in there, and creative doesn't have to be like art or anything like that. It's just a way to express yourself. Is it words? Is it like singing in the shower? Is it just like a meditation before bed or meditation before work or whatever? Priestess of activations, the chalice, the queen of swords, you could say. So someone who has like a lot of wit and energy, and like sometimes comes across pretty blunt, right, in some points, but has like a heart within there, like deep within, has this like star and heart, I want to say. So star just makes me think of like superpowers or qualities that they want to express. Maybe they can't because they feel like they're too busy. They're too busy getting distracted by lots of different things. So the queen also, or the priestess in here, which I kind of like priestess better than queen for some reason, because it feels like I said with the priestess journey, the initiation, going on the path of the priestess, I feel like, regardless of your gender or anything like that, I don't know if there's a path of the priest, or maybe something like that, but really it's like empowering yourself with your own energy, like regardless if that's masculine or feminine, it's your energy. So it's empowering yourself. Excuse me, empowering yourself and using your voice and your words to be heard. And sometimes we have to be heard to ourselves. We have to speak it out loud to ourselves to really know how we feel about that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I am powerful, I am strong, I am, whatever. And then seeing how you feel about, do you believe that? It's not about judgment, it's about truth and how you feel. Also, she cuts swords, right? Sorry, not cut swords. Cuts cords from things that don't resonate, don't work for her. So maybe there is some kind of old stuff that needs to be released. Maybe there's like wounds around masculinity, feminine energy, masculine energy, feminine energy. Might be time to release some of that if you feel called to. Okay, so I feel like I spoke really, really quick. It's just the messages come through a lot faster when I'm connecting with kind of like the higher kind of realms. Feels good though. Feels nice and energetical. But yeah, this is your opportunity to take a moment and breathe. I feel like take a breath, and then you'll see like how you're feeling, where you're at, and what's really important. Like, sure, I've I've got dishes that I need to do right now, really, that can be done, but I'm focused on this reading and my mind's here, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. Whatever you're doing, put your full attention in that, like it's the only thing in the room. When you're talking to your kids, your partner, your boss, doing your self-care, your meditation, be in that moment as much as you can. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying try and put your effort into that kind of thing. That'll help you. And even when you're reevaluating or reflecting, put your energy into that, not into what's gonna what you need to do in the next hour, 2 days, 3 days, week, year, month, by the end of your life. Just focus on the now. Okay. That's exactly what I see in your pile today, number one. Thank you very much for being here. So hopefully you've enjoyed. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number two. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen the gold or golden sheen obsidian. This has a message of personal power, spiritual manifestation, earth healing, and new experiences. So let's take a look. What message wants to come through today? I think this one here. So you've got the moon. Take time to reflect. Pop that here. It's interesting with the earth healing and that card, just with like, you know, the moon, the earth, kind of how they have their own pull on each other in a sense. I'm gonna go with this one. So you have Helios with cycles. Interesting. If you were also called to pile one, you may want to check that out. I just feel like it's going to have a very similar message. Okay. Got Archangel Raziel coming through. This is about mysteries, uncovering. This is why you're reflecting, because they're going to go right here with each other. Archangel Raziel is the kind of like a keeper of secrets, let's say. I think his name translates as the keeper or secrets of God. I'll take this one too. So you have Miss Faith coming through with humanity and benevolence. Stay calm, trust the good in yourself and others, see the light in the world. Okay. You also have Odin with psychic insight. Your third eye is open, see truth for what it is, follow your intuition. It's definitely, like, even with the moon, it's about intuition, and even mysteries, like with Raziel, it's about intuition. It's not something that you can just go figure out, right? Cycles feels like, you know, going through, I don't think it's going through the motions. I think it's more like a specific thing you wanted to learn or do or create, and each cycle you learn more and more, right? You learn more about yourself, about what's right for you. The spiritual manifestation feels like at a higher realm level, like creating up there so it can be brought down here in some sense. All right, let me take this one. So you've got Maya, what is it, Darren? Don't know this one. Maya Darren. So I don't know her. She's never really come out in any of my readings before. This talks about immersion. If you are doing anything spiritual or even psychic, with psychic insights in here and what's right, this is definitely kind of like your card, like your message. Because immersion is, it's going deep. There's also symbols which kind of remind me of voodoo in a sense. From more like a traditional sense, more so than what was kind of, you know, Christian or Christianity or Catholic kind of like views on it. because it's different. It's not all. I think there's in history it's kind of been muddied as a negative craft, and maybe in some senses there are some kind of negativity, but there's going to be shadows and light in all forms of beliefs and religions. There's going to be talks about death, rebirth, life, endings, love, war, you know, in all religions. So I think that's where that's coming through. So let's see what else they have to say. I'm going to go review all over it once I've finished pulling the cards. Also, the song that was just playing was levitating, and I wasn't really paying attention, but now I feel like that was part of the reading, and I think that's where the psychic insights and your intuition, levitating, not exactly like you'll start flying around the room, but just like you're tapping into a higher realm. Maybe you're tapping into your higher self, and even the cycle, we might be talking about a cycle that's like from a past life to this life, if you believe in that. It could go back that far as well. So new things are opening up with this new cycle for sure. It's like not just above and below, but it's like feeling grounded and connected on earth while doing your spiritual practices. I feel like Raziel's coming through because you're opening up some kind of aspect of who you are from a deep level. Maybe also some of you are working with Raziel, or have worked with them in the past, or even your guides are acting as if like this energy. Interesting. But it's all within you. It's already been within you. You always had it. And you're starting to embrace it, I feel, or dive into that. This is great. This feels really good. It's not really touching too much on like masculine, feminine energy. I do like that we have like feminine, masculine, feminine. You know, we've got all that kind of like dichotomy, if you want to say. But it's more than that. It's like opening up and expressing all aspects of yourself, seeing the kind of like harshness of yourself and the softness of yourself, the receptive, the giving, the like, you know, all of it. Like it's really interesting. I feel like you must be exploring or about to explore so much more about yourself, and it's really for the good of the world with this card, because trust the good in yourself and others, see the light in the world. It's starting to see, I guess, the capabilities of humanity, and not just what we see on the news as being one kind of source of our information or our connection with the earth. There's so many good things happening out there. There's a lot of harsh stuff too, but maybe just as a test, I did this once. Recently, I went onto a news site and I kind of judged whether they were like positive or negative, regardless of what my own kind of opinions of it. Sometimes I was like trying to be like devil's advocate and be like, oh yeah, I guess this is neutral, right? This is a neutral story. But I would say about, I think it was like 14 like quick little click on things, and only like maybe 3 or 4 out of like the 14, let's say 12, 14, were positive, and it was generally around travel, or home improvements or something like that. And that even those could be seen as like, oh, see, you haven't got this nice house or whatever. Depends on how we perceive it, right? Because we can have like negative mindsets and things like that around some stuff. But I always see it as like, this is a beautiful place, this is lovely, lovely to travel there, that kind of thing. But the rest were generally, crime, stuff happening in the world, certain things being blocked or cut off, or like contracts burnt, that kind of stuff. It was all that kind of energy, and it's like it has its place, but it's not this full story. And same with you. You have certain aspects that you highlight during a day and people see, but there's so much more to you than just what is, let's say, broadcasted. Okay. So you've got the infinite self-realization with the 10 of activations. lovely. I mean, this makes a lot of sense. The Ten of Activations plays along with the Ten of Swords, so it's like that end of some things working, some things don't, but the takeaway from each thing that works, that doesn't, is learning more about yourself, learning more about the world you live in, about your energy, about people's energy that you're around, and what is more calling to you and what is not calling to you, you know, that kind of stuff. So many things. Like, we're so much more than just like left or right. We're like, you know, 360-degree, kind of like probably spherical as well, going in all directions. Wow, this is so pretty. So you've got geometric coherence with the Three of Portals, and the Three of Portals coincides with the Three of Cups. But I like this kind of like, I guess, magical synchronistic, because it's like you see the sacred kind of geometry in the lines. You're starting to, I guess, pull on the threads of what's right and what's true and what's not and what's right for you. You know what I mean? You're starting to really connect in. You don't have to be spirit like psychic or anything, or like even work on those. It could be just from meditation, and or even just self-realization, reflection, literally self-reflection. We can learn so much from that. We don't have to go down a path of like following a guru or anything like that, even though if that calls to you, of course, go for that. But there's so many ways to understand more about ourselves than seeking it outside. And it's always going to be, if we seek it outside, they're going to help us see it within ourselves anyway. But also Three of Cups is like enjoying celebration, that kind of thing. I just feel like this one feels more true to the imagery. Okay, so we have the Seven of Activations. This is Wings of Integrity. So interesting, it really coincides with this. But the Wings of Integrity is like the Seven of Swords, you know, that person who's kind of taking the swords to help their team, but more in like a sneaky way, right? With the Wings of Integrity, it's not really touching on that scene at all. It's really talking about what's right for you. Who are you around that feels good to you? You might have lots of friends and stuff like that that are good friends, but sometimes we grow out of those kind of connections, and it doesn't mean we just cut off the connection, but maybe we want to expand more into things that are more important to us. You don't have to keep it in. You want to express it, because when you radiate it, you're going to attract the people that also have that same kind of energy. So yeah, immerse yourself, get into it. Like, it does feel like getting into. It's almost like being on the point of a secret being unlocked within you, or a breakthrough in something about yourself. It's like a breakthrough in life. I don't know how that is or what that looks like, but that's how the energy feels, which is really, really, really cool. Like, this is really exciting. Oh, I love this. Initiate of Earth Guardians, the microcosm. This is like, you know, way in, because you can see red blood cells and kind of atoms and helix, and oh, it looks like an egg and sperm. So this does feel like new life or reawakening. You know how, I can't remember if it's like a spiritual thing or whatever, but it's like, I think from a spiritual aspect, like just the general kind of like consensus is we don't have junk DNA like a lot of, what are they called? Geneticists will kind of like say, it's like, oh yeah, most of this is just junk from, I guess from their perspective, it's from like evolution, and you know, changing, and a lot of it's just not activated. But I feel like some of that is because we haven't evolved into a way to activate that, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, there's just more to it than just like, oh, this is what we don't need, this is what we have, that's it. There's not just, I feel like there's more than just this clinical kind of look at it. The initiate of Earth Guardians is the Page of Pentacles, if you want to put it in this sense. But I feel like with the imagery, it's like birthing something new creation, activation. Like, there's life flowing through you, and it's all within you. So this immersion is external in some sense, but it's also like a deep dive within. And this is bringing in this new kind of power and maybe a new, better way of, not better, I don't want to say it like that, but a new way of looking at yourself in the world. It can be kind of overwhelming, so if there is overwhelming energy, take a break, take a breath. Just know that this is exciting, and if it's too overwhelming, just, you know, say it out loud that there's too much going on, or too much change, or too much right now, and I just need a breath. And I think that's where the time to reflect on comes from. It might even be looking at really old things of how you moved from A to B, and it's like, if I knew that was coming up, I would not want to do it. But I went through it and I got through it, and it was good because I learned, you know, X, Y, Z. And then be like, wow, if this was lucky, or maybe there's coincidences in here. There's something in there that has like that wasn't just a coincidence. It was like fate. It almost feels like, or something was meant to happen. It's really interesting. Well, thank goodness that person that I was with broke up with me. I would never have broken up with them, but I wouldn't have led my life to get to here. I wouldn't have this person in my life, or this child, or something like that. So I'm grateful for that. Even if, you know, it wasn't the best thing to happen in my life. You can't change what's already been done. Okay. I think that's where we leave it. This does feel like a overview, or like a look at your life, in a sense, finding like strength within, so you can really act. I feel like it's an activation. It's like immersion, but it's like activation of something within you that wakes you up to more of you, more about you, more of your true self, or your story. It's definitely something to be celebrated. Okay. And that's exactly what I see for you in your pile today, pile number 2. Thank you very much for being here. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello there, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen water with emotional, intuition, psychic powers, and healing. So very feminine kind of energy from this element. But this is a message from God and Goddess, or Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, or even Universe Source, whatever feels right to call it for you. Okay, so let's see what they want to bring through. Okay, so you have the message navigate. Beacons of light in the night sky are there to guide you. So definitely touching on guidance. And also signs, I want to say, more so like actual messages coming through from the divine. Okay, I'm going to take this one. Oh, okay, so you've got Metatron coming through. Interesting. I have to read the book on this one. I haven't really checked that out, but Metatron is seen kind of like in many different ways. Metatron's interesting. On the tree of life, it's the top of the tree, which is spirituality. So it's the very highest part. It's also seen as like a mini Yahweh, or a mini God as well, kind of taking some of the task or roles. And if you probably watch Supernatural, he's kind of like the scribe, or like the person who kind of got a lot of information, although that's a TV show, right? Kind of loosely based off many myths and things like that, and religions and all sorts. But just a really interesting character, but definitely. Also, I think there's a story. Is he Elijah? It's kind of like Sandalphon and Metatron ascended, right? I can't really remember the whole biblical kind of stories, but lots of different ways compared to a lot of the other archangels to become an arch. I think they might have been born with it, and there's like stories where he was more gifted it or ascended to that point. Okay, so you've got Arpak or Arpooch, not sure how to pronounce it, sorry, with the message of fear. Okay, interesting. Interesting with all this like spiritual energy and kind of like feminine energy, and then there's these like very kind of stern, I want to say, or even strong masculine energies. Okay. I'm gonna pop. Do I want another one of these? Yeah, I think I do. If I keep shuffling, I generally think, oh, okay, we're getting another one. I do want to see what message Metatron has before I flip these. Alright, so these are your oracle cards. But I do want to read this one now. So Metatron's talking about ancient wisdom, so old energy. It says here, you are crowned with the light of source because you are a divine incarnate. Walk upon the earth as an angel, and life shall conspire to lift you up. Wisdom is available to those who truly follow the integrity of their heart. Yeah, definitely calling into, I guess, account your truth, which is interesting because I feel like our ego plays on our fears, right? And you'll see that with a lot of people feeling like they've got attachments, or they can't do something because something bad might happen, or they need to be around because no one else can do the things that they can do, right? It's like a lot of pressure, I want to say, that could be from things that have happened in your life, and it might be stuff that's probably from the past and not happening anymore, so it's like a realization of that. I think that's where the navigate comes from. It's like, where am I supposed to go with this information? I've got like, I'm probably an empath with you picking water, and then are you taking on stuff that's not yours, or is it triggering old things that reminds you of exes or harsh situations or something like that? You also have Maya Deren. She popped out in pile 2 if you're drawn to that, with immersion. I was talking about it last time with these like voodoo symbols. There's like, and people might automatically think, you know, bad, evil, blah, blah, blah. But that was just kind of the stories that were attached to them because the predominant religion that wanted to be sent through was, I can't remember exactly, but it was either Catholicism or some form of Christianity, right? So everything else is fake, or that's kind of like the idea of kind of spread your beliefs is like, well, yours is fake, or you're gonna die, or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So that could be where the fear is coming through too. And sometimes these are just old things that pop up, or old symbols, or old belief systems, and doesn't mean they don't really have any, they're kind of neutral until you put a label on it, or you put a negative thought on it. So it's like a person. The person's neutral until you understand who they are and what they've done, or maybe what they're doing right now, and then you say that that's good, bad person, whatever. But it's neutral until you put a belief or a label on it. So what labels are you putting on things, and what labels are you putting on yourself that no longer resonate? Speaking of divine feminine, this is the Shekinah. Shekinah is, it's interesting getting Metatron and Shekinah because he's like, in this deck, he's probably the more higher level or energetical kind of level of masculine energy from the deck. And this is, in Judaism anyway, Shekinah is like the earth mother, or the divine feminine. So it says, sacred self, unleash your spirit, express your gifts, dance with the sacred rhythm of life. Yeah, don't be afraid to be who you are. It's really how it is. It's like, you've got your own inner world. It's time to get into let that out into your physical realm. Doesn't mean you go yell it out. It's just like, live it and be it, embrace it. Alright, so you've got Carl Jung. I think that's how you pronounce it. I was saying Jung before and I think people got upset. But I didn't know. So Carl Jung, and it's collective unconsciousness. I love that. It's about connecting with the collective in a sense. Maybe potentially because you chose this, you're worried about doing something that could be perceived as negative, but this is how I always look at it. Let's say, for example, you watch someone where they're channeling a message through. Instead of judging whether that person is good, bad, evil, whatever, listen to the message and see what the message is coming through. Is it saying something that you would consider dangerous or risky or anything like that? Is it talking about collective like love and peace on the world and that kind of thing? Instead of judging the, let's say, act, especially if it comes from a place like whether that belief comes from a place of like something old or something that may not be, you know, necessarily true in a sense now, just listen to the messages or the words, and see what they're doing in their life. Are they hurting people? Like, are they trying to keep people stuck? Are they doing any training? I feel like teaching and training shows you that they're trying to give that what they do to other people so they can do it for themselves, right? Instead of being like, no, you have to come with me and stay in here and then keep them stuck in like a particular way. Then I think, you know, you can believe and feel whatever comes from that. But it's not about me telling you what to do. It's really about you figuring things out for yourself in a sense, which is why you've got navigation and immersion. The collective unconscious, definitely about connecting with source or connecting with this masculine feminine energy, embracing that. This immersion right here, I definitely feel like it's definitely about connection. The fear is just the worry of what could happen and what might be, and I feel like this is a good way of looking at it. Fear is kind of like a really old kind of instinctual thing, and it's needed, right? Especially when we're getting chased by, you know, hyenas or lions and leopards, whatever. When we're getting eaten, pretty much, by nature. Ask yourself: is this fear rational? Like, if there's a lion in your room, absolutely try to do what you need to do to get out of there. But if you know, someone's sharing a message of like disharmony and fear and hate or something like that, then maybe that's not for you, right? But really, I think it's like a message of, it feels like a message of listen to what's being said and what's being told. Trust the core of who you are. And even if you decide that it's not for you, then that's fine. And even if you do decide it's for you, then that's fine. You know, go with that. Go with your truth. Go with your gut instincts, I guess, is the best way to say it. Or emotional instincts, or, you know, that kind of thing. Or intuition. Like this one too. Take this one and this one. All right, so you've got alignment of the heart with justice. So this is the justice card. Really beautiful imagery here. I think she's on the front of the box too, of the, what's it called? Golden Age. Unveiling the Golden Age. I do like that it's like number 11 too. Just such a balanced kind of like number in tarot, like in the mages as well. It always just makes me quite happy. But also, just like looking at this again, it's got to be what's right and feels right to you. Try to base this in an open-minded sense. And if it's right, it's right. If it's not, it's not. I don't know what this is. It's just like, I feel like it's just with life, maybe with your belief systems, maybe with your work, career. It feels very broad. Maybe it's just with yourself. It's definitely talking about seeing yourself as not just part of the collective, like yes, but also as your individual truth as well, your individual soul self coming through. We've got the 9 of light codes with persistent presence. So this is the 9 of wands as like another thing, as another sorry, as a like an aspect of tarot, if you want to put it into that kind of perspective. And I like the way they've worded it's persistent presence. So it's like, you know, you've been through many different things. Maybe sometimes things have been unjust, and it's never like the way to balance the scale is never tit for tat, because it goes like this. It just seesaws. It doesn't balance. Sometimes just not focusing on the scales itself and leaving that and just choosing what's right for you automatically balances the scales. You know what I mean? Like time away from it's not ignoring it, it's just choosing not to engage in that situation anymore. We've also got the Priestess of Activations. So this is the Queen of Swords. And you've also got Evolving Light Codes with the Star. Yeah, I do feel like you're going through a shift, and sometimes shifts and changes, whether it's awakening like abilities or just awakening to your truth of who you are. It's something you've kind of wanted, or maybe even it's just time in your life that this is to be awoken and tapped into in this lifetime. Even if you miss the boat, and many times, your guides aren't going to judge you. They're just there to support no matter what and help you through this. But it looks like it's a time of understanding who you are, understanding what's right for you, and what's old fears, what's true fears, and what's like illusionary fears or ego fear, right? Because ego wants to keep us safe, sometimes to our detriment though. It's like, don't do that because everything's chugging along quite well now. And then when something big happens, it's like, okay, react to that now. Now you have to react to it. But I think your guides are really, really on point and really helpful and really trying to guide you here. So tap into your intuition for sure, your energies, because that's going to be where you get your guiding messages. And even if you feel like you during your day you're distracted or like just in the motion of things, take a look outside. Take a moment to like rest your eyes. Instead of like going straight to the bus or whatever, like have a quick break in the park or sit down at a bench and just view even how you're feeling, but even like just people watch or whatever, you know, whatever's right for you. Just see like, okay, I'm just so focused on this, I don't even see these hundreds of people just walking past someday. It's like, look, this person's distracted, they're just walking on their phone, they're not paying attention, they're just like doing, and that's exactly what I was doing. Sometimes that just breaks you out of your cycle, and then you can be like, thank you guides for like, you know, reminding me of where I am and who I am and where I'm going. So a very broad message. Remember, this is from Source, God, Goddess, and I feel like that even here probably in your reading as part of your guidance in your actual individual team, potentially at the moment. Maybe there's some stuff to work on, feminine, masculine wounds, that kind of thing. I don't know exactly how it will come through, but it does feel like you are starting to progress and connect at a deeper level. Maybe even your spirituality is becoming more deeper as well, more immersive. So that's exactly what I see in your reading today. Hopefully you've enjoyed Pile 3. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, Pile number 4. Welcome to your reading today. Thank you for being here. So your message, or the card you've chosen today is the Celestite, with communicating with angels, tranquility, good fortunes, and deep meditation. So lovely Celestite here. I also have a piece here, not as vibrant looking as the card, but just as beautiful. Okay. Oops. It's just rolling around now. There we go. Okay, so this is a message from God, Goddess, Divine Source, feminine and masculine energies, whatever feels right for you to call it. Call this higher being, higher power. Go with that. Oh mate, screen just turned off. Okay. So let's see. Oh, I'm feeling this one here. Okay, so you've got the message of inspire. There's a fire inside you burning brighter than the sun. Ooh, okay. This is like a expression or coming out kind of energy. Okay. I'm feeling these two actually. Okay. So you also have, wow, Mother Mary coming through with love and peace. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. It's also kind of like a very high feminine energy, right? Very empowering, caring, warm, kind of loving energy. You also have Hilarion. Hilarion from memory is like a was kind of like a priest. I think he was kind of born into like a rich family, kind of got to a certain point, I'm assuming having some kind of revelation or divine kind of like awakening or something like that, and then sold or like gave his ownership of his estate or his parents' estate or whatever his cut to his family and just like his brothers, I think a brother, and just left it and went and helped and healed people in more remote areas of I can't remember exactly, don't quote me, I can't remember if it was like Middle East or Northern Africa. But this was a long time ago, so yeah, it was just like very dedicated and selfless, let's say. But talking about healing, and we're talking about healing here, so there's obviously healing and moving on from the past. But it says here, honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others, so it might be a good time to take a break and rest. There's like this inspire and then this like chill, tranquility, and then this fire. So it's definitely saying you're not giving up, you're not stopping, you're just resting, you're just taking a moment to slow down, I guess. Okay. Wow, so you've got the Shekinah coming through, talking about divine feminine. This is the earth, you could say, kind of like Gaia, but also in traditional or like I can't remember if it's Judaic mysticism, Judaic mysticism, something like that. But anyway, Shekinah is I guess the answer to Mother Mary from Christianity. This is like the feminine divine, the earth. Okay, we'll keep her there. So, not surprising that this pile is touching on divine feminine energy for sure. Celestite does feel very more so deep and inclusive, connected, and feminine. Okay, so we're going to take this one. So you got here Ganesha with obstacles. Ganesha is great for removing obstacles. Literally, that's how Ganesha feels. Also a really lovely deity to work with as well. I actually really respect and appreciate Ganesh. Well, which one are we going for? No, I'm going to keep shuffling. Okay. Interestingly enough, through all piles, none of the saints came out. It's all mystics. So it's kind of split into saints and mystics. And yeah, no saints today. Alright, so you've got Manuel Swedenborg with spirituality. I might give a little read of this one because I don't know it that well. Or know him, sorry. Not really it, but know him that well. So number 24. So he's coming up with the psychic scientist. So it says here he was a scientist, an inventor, philosopher and poet, theologian, author and mystic. So there you go. Lots of things. It's everything. His intelligence impressed the royal Swedish family. So it comes up here with he had breakthrough concepts of anatomy and what's this? Physiology. Oh, goodness. I was looking at the word and I just couldn't get it. Which was ahead of his times, that his findings were not scientifically verified until almost a century later. So definitely someone who was ahead of his time. What I really love about this is sometimes these things happen, right? We'll see someone who has all these ideas and we'll just think they're crazy, right? Something like that. We're in a time now where things from 10 years ago have shifted so much that it's huge. So when we think of like 100 years ago, something taking a century to figure out or verify, it's like such a big leap. It feels like such a huge amount of time. But in our day and age, stuff that we think is true now is being verified like very quickly over time. Certain things, right? Not everything, but certain ideas and that kind of thing. This is definitely touching on an aspect of not giving up because you've got Inspire with Ganesha. I feel like this is coming from like a strong feminine energetical place. Like even with Hilarion and Emmanuel here, but Hilarion has like an air of service, so it's like a softer side. Even though he's coming through in like a male form, it's still like a soft energy. I'm gonna start pulling cards here because I still need to see why Emmanuel's coming through with spirituality. Because spirituality is such a broad term, right? It kind of touches on your own practices. When we look here, we've got like a figure from Christianity, a figure from Judaism, and a figure from is it Ayurvedic or Hinduism? Vedic, I guess. Not too versed on religions, honestly. I know figures now, but I've never really personally followed many religions. Besides just the general stuff that comes out that you just hear from living. So let's see what Divine, Masculine, and Feminine have for you today. Oops. Okay, that one's jumping around, so we'll take that. I'm going to take this one. There's one in here that I want to take. I don't normally do this, but I just want to split these up. There we go. Okay. So you've got the 7 of activations. This feels like stealth, like straight away. So this is 7 of swords in traditional tarot, and it feels like stealth. Maybe not expressing something or letting out something that needs to like kind of roar, or maybe even acknowledging something. It's kind of like the stealth is hiding. It's not like it works, right? But it's hiding something from yourself so you don't have to really focus on it or deal with it. That could be right for some people, maybe not for everyone, but start to listen to what this is saying, like what you're trying to hide from, technically yourself in a way. Something that doesn't feel right. So you've got the 9 of light codes. Persistent presence. This card has come out in almost every single pile. So it's definitely feeling like a lot of people are going through some harsh stuff, or feeling like they're going through, maybe it's not harsh, it's just like, the mundane, the day-to-day kind of thing. Sometimes that's fine, and sometimes it's a call out to recognize, especially if you've been feeling like down in the past few weeks or something and you don't know what that is. It might be a time to look into and reflect and see what that is, because generally things just you don't start getting upset over for no reason. Honor your feelings and honor yourself. because I think that'll identify what these are, what these obstacles are, if they are obstacles or if they're like blocks. They could be blocks within your own chakra system as well. Right, so you got the Four of Earth Guardians with Desert. Desert's really interesting because it's a harsh environment, right? There's like really chill nights, really cold nights, and then blistering hot day. Like it's just this, there's kind of like an air of there's like an air of survivability for some reason. It's like a need to survive. The Four of Earth Guardians pops up with the Four of Pentacles, which is has like, when we look at the Four of Pentacles away from this card, it's kind of like regalness. There's like a elegance kind of there, but also a reservedness, like a held back. And I think that needs to be released. It's like it could be in any energetical form. Money is very energetical, so it's like money coming in and then holding it down like it's mine, not wanting to let it go because you might believe that it might go away and never come back again, right? So you don't believe in the flow of money or life or whatever, and so it's like, no, I'll just keep, I'll hold on to this because it may not come back in, but that's like not believing that you will receive abundance again. It's like a play on that, and then that's kind of why it's coming up with the desert, because it's like you're needing to hold on to like your food or rations because you're in a wild environment or an extreme kind of environment. It's interesting because I don't know if this is real or if this is just a feeling. It's like, if I don't do this, I lose this. This could happen. I could lose this. I could lose like my job, my whatever, my, you know, it's just like it's almost like imploding from the inside kind of feeling. But you do have this. You do have this. And and then again with the Nine of Light Codes with the desert, it's like, you know, trudging along, and I feel like there's more to be had in this life. There's more to be had than just reacting to circumstances that occur to you. Oh, I love this. Look at this portal. It feels so much better than like the other cards that were kind of popping out. They feel good, like they feel true, but this feels much more like fulfilling. And it's the Sedona Vortex. I don't know this one, but I love that it's also card 44. Sedona Vortex, 9 of Portals. The 9 of Portals is the 9, 2 nines too. So the 9 of, oh actually, and also 444. Anyway, I'll stop looking at the numbers. But the 9 of Portals is the 9 of Cups, which is, you know, the dreams coming true, the more fulfillment. And I think that's there. This isn't just a possibility. It's like a reality out there that you can just grab and hang on to, and then, you know, say bye to the mundane and get on it, get with that particular pathing, I want to say. I'm just going to move these around so you can see Shakina's head. Okay, so how would I sum up this reading? There's so much going on here. There's a lot. I feel feeling into your divine feminine energy, maybe via meditation, maybe by reflection in a sense. Is there? These two with healing, I feel like, I thought it might have been external, but it feels like internal. There's stuff that you're maybe not really expressing, and you're locking up in a way, or stealthing yourself, like deceiving yourself in a sense. And it's not via like, oh, I'm deceiving myself, you know, drama. Stop with that. Like, don't go down that path. It's not about that. It's really about what is true. So instead of looking at it from the deception or the stealth side, see it from the what's true to me right now. What's real in my life at this moment, not from the past, not from the future, not with any label that I've decided, because nothing has a meaning until you give it a meaning, right? There's a bird outside that doesn't have a meaning until you give it a meaning. Even like a smashed, like you drive and a rock flicks up and hits your windscreen and leaves a chip. That doesn't have a meaning until you add a meaning to it. And it's like, oh, bad luck. I'm always bad luck. You know, that kind of thing. You go down a spiral. You know, so things just like can be and happen and things like that. So what are you putting a label on that may not be true is where I'm kind of going on with that. Because these are the obstacles that can overcome. Your spiritual practices are important. So make sure you are following those that are true to you. If you have like a certain time of the day that you normally do them, stick to that, especially if you're feeling out of sorts or not connected or disconnected to your body or to the collective or to your, you know, to who you pray to or whatever, anything like that. There's a lot here. And choose peace is really important here. Let go of the need to be right. Let go of the need to sell the story like that you might be stuck on. This is just for some people, and I know it sounds kind of harsh, and it's not to be harsh. It's really just to be real, and to be real with self. Because some stuff might have been true in the past, but life's changed. People have left and come and gone. What's true now? What's actually in your environment right this second? Because I think that helps balance and lets you see what's on offer, because everything you've gone through has given you opportunities to learn. Whether you wanted those lessons or not, things from the past can't be undone. So how do you move forward from here with that knowledge and that experience? Okay. That's exactly what I see with this reading. And I feel like this whole reading was to inspire you to ignite that that fire within you, and that, you know, to get what you deserve, to get what's right for you, and what is almost like what you deserve in a sense, what you deserve to feel, what's real, what's really important as well. There's so much here that I'm just going to leave that there. So thank you very much for letting me read for you today. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and if you have, leave me a like. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next reading.